Hello, everyone. I'm trying something new. This is pre-recorded gameplay from my stream of Marvel's Avengers, and I want to talk about this game. This is a honest review. This will be the first one of this kind, and so you don't have to look at my ugly mug. You just have to hear my ugly voice. Sorry, either way, it's me. I finished the campaign for Marvel's Avengers and did a lot of the in-game content. I think I've logged close to 40, 50 hours in this game. And so I feel like it's a good time to put this out there. Is Marvel's Avengers a good game? Yes and no. As a game, as a single player experience, it is too short for a $60 price tag. And you could tell that that was the case based upon the tacked on multiplayer aspects that they put in this game. A lot of the features definitely feel like they were added after a lot of the game had already been decided. The single player story is magnificent. It tells the tale of Kamala trying to get the Avengers back together after the events of A-Day to stop AIM from taking over. It is really well told, and it does the one thing that MCU hasn't been able to do, which is not kill villains and make excuses for them hanging around afterwards. I like it. I think it's a very beautiful game. The biggest problem I had was there was a ton of glitches at the final mission, to the point that my character was invisible and so was every enemy. Once I died and reloaded, it all was fine, but that was a weird glitch, and that's one of the problems that this game had. Now, I did just recently play it post the most recent patch, which is, I guess, 1.07, and it is running a little bit smoother, but it still has that problem. Um, but as a game as a service, there's still a lot they can do. But single player wise, I would say the game isn't bad. It's a story worth telling, and if you're one of those people who just doesn't like paying $60-$70 for a game, I would say for this game, $40 or lower is a good price point if you're not interested in the multiplayer stuff. Let's speak about that multiplayer stuff. I haven't been able to play with a single fucking person. I just haven't found a match. I think the matchmaking is not set up in a way that is conducive for people to find each other because it's specifically built for missions and not just built to find people to play games with online. One thing that they could learn from Destiny is creating playlists for different things and allowing people to just randomly go through different missions like that. That might help their problem. The problem also with the online content and the in-game content is it feels very stale. There is not much to it, and all it is just trying to get to max level and max power. I'm hoping that with more content, this will change, but as of this moment, it's just do this mission, do this mission, do this mission, and move on. It doesn't feel like it's setting up anything bigger in the initiative right now, which is kind of disappointing. There is a lot of frustration around this game and the quality of content and the quality of mission structure. And I think it's a lot of founded stuff because you're doing the same stuff over and over again, fighting a series of enemies and moving on. The saving grace as to why people aren't going to shit on this game like they did Anthem is the combat is very satisfying, and the menus are easy to navigate. And I think it's a fine game. At times, it is very tedious, and that's the problem with it. I think there's a lot of tedium that even Destiny 1 suffered from. So I hope that they will just work on that tedium and try to make improvements along with fixes. Gear doesn't feel like it's doing anything for power. I feel that the gear does not do anything to help you in a way at all. I'm almost power 60 with everybody, and I just don't see a benefit. And I don't know if I ever will, and that's probably the part of the problem is I don't feel magnitude comparatively. Now, now leveling up and unlocking more skills, that's when you start to really feel your magnitude as a fighter. Is when you're unlocking more of the skills, the level up feels like it has that potential, but the gear doesn't, which is why it feels to me like the gear was tacked on later because the story just wasn't long enough and Marvel or Disney was not happy with that product, so they kind of made them put in something to increase the lasting of this game. There's a lot of good systems in place, but the loot mechanic is not one of them, and that is something that they could optimize. You know, it did sell well, so I'm hoping that they can optimize it. As a service, It is probably the third worst one. I would say Doom and Vanilla Destiny are probably the two worst ones, but it's definitely not much better than Vanilla Destiny, and I think it could get better. So that is something that I'll have to keep track of, and maybe I'll update, as it progresses and see where it goes. But for right now, I think I'm satisfied with being able to put this out here. Impression wise, man, it's got its moments. It really does. It really has these moments where you feel awesome being the Avengers, and a lot of the powers feel really good to use. And flying around as Black Widow, holy fuck, is she good? And playing as Kamala, playing as Cap, playing as Iron Man, they're probably my favorites. But then I had to play as Thor and Hulk feels bulky, and Thor feels unnecessary. And I think that's been my problem is some of these characters. I don't like the way they're built, and so I just ignore them. On to the battle passes. Yeah, so I've gotten all of them about halfway up, so almost level 20, just from doing weekly challenges and dailies. Yeah, you definitely can easily earn the credits you'll need to buy new battle passes. It's not it's not a problem. It's very easy to do weekly and daily challenges. Hell, I finished all of Cap's weekly and dailies after not playing for a whole week. Going in and doing them all in one day within about 2 hours. I did the weeklies and the dailies. Sometimes you are able to do that. You can refresh one daily and one weekly. Yeah, and they're not ridiculous, but again, there's that tedium because you also have to do faction stuff. All the faction stuff is very tedious, but if you're coming on there to do missions, then you're already going to have access to doing that. So it's best to just, before you head out on missions, go to the anthill, get those missions. Go back to Avengers, the helipad, and get those missions, and then go out. And they could make that more seamless, allowing there to be an admin of one of each at the location, so that way you can grab both depending on where you spawn. So that's an improvement that they could make. But base-wise, foundation-wise, I think there is something solid here that they could build upon and make something interesting. Is it as interesting as what Destiny or even Anthem could have turned into if they put the time into it? No. But I do think that they have something that could be exciting to play for a while. And I'm excited to see where they take it, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. And I really hope that they don't give up. And it feels like there's money behind it, and it's Square. And the good thing is that Square Enix as a publisher isn't like that, especially if something actually does well for them. They will support it. They will fight for it. I mean, look what they did with Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV, when it launched originally, it was garbage. They took it down, took it off, rebuilt it, and made Final Fantasy XIV a Realm Reborn. And it is the most popular MMO on the planet right now with paid subscription. So I trust that Square can do a good job, and I think if you give the game a chance, you might enjoy yourself more than you think, because it is shockingly entertaining, which is the point of video games. So if I had to give it a score out of 10, I would say it's probably like a 6.5, 7 right now, but that doesn't mean it can't improve later. That's the positive with games as a service, which I know people hate, but I actually like it because I like seeing a game. I like talking about it. Man, do you remember when Destiny first launched, that piece of shit? And you remember playing it at the end? Holy fuck, that's a completely different game. I love that shit for some reason. Just give it a chance. Games as a service is an exciting thing because it's people wanting to make something that lasts a long time and makes money for a long time, and listening to their community is key in making that work. And so if they're listening to their community, then you might end up getting some of the best stuff you've ever played. So give it a chance, play it, see what you think of it. But yeah, I'm going to say 7 out of 10. Again, if you like this honest review, please leave a like down below. Leave a comment. Talk about the game with me. You can follow me. Subscribe to me if you're new here on YouTube, ZeroMan816. I'm also on Twitch. Same name, ZeroMan816. Please support us. Trying to grow, trying to become something with this, and provide you guys with more content. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.